Hello everyone! Today we're going to make carrot cake, but before we get started into carrot cake, I have a favour to ask. I'd love you to subscribe to my channel. The reason why? We want to make lots more of these videos and we need lots of subscribers. So just down here is a little red button. If you click on it, then you can subscribe. It's really easy and all of these videos will come to you every week on Friday. Okay, carrot cake. What are we going to make today? Today's cake is actually inspired by a cake recipe I found online on Donna Hay's website. Donna Hay is an Australian cook, writer, chef, and she makes marvelous things. And I found this cake, and the best thing about it, it's all made in a food processor and really easy to make. It takes a little bit of time to get all of the ingredients together, but once you've done that, it's super simple. So let's get started. So to make this cake, we have all of these ingredients and carrots. A quick word, obviously there are lots of ingredients. So the detailed recipe is in the link just below. If you look, it says recipe, you'll find everything. It will be taken to my website and all the details will be there. So back to the ingredients. A pound of carrots, just about, and that's the weight before they're peeled. You'll end up with about 3/4 pound once they've been peeled and the ends trimmed. Some pecans, brown sugar and regular sugar, some dates, 3 eggs, Greek yogurt, some oil, just plain oil, cinnamon and allspice, some flour, and baking soda and baking powder and vanilla paste. And I strongly suggest preparing everything ahead of time and getting it all together because it'll make putting the cake together in the food processor quick and easy. And let's just get started with that. The first thing we need to do is to grind up the carrots and the pecans together. I'm just going to pop those in the food processor. Just put them in together. And then you need to run this for about 10-15 seconds until they get into pretty small pieces. Once they have got to those nice small pieces, then I like to scrape down the sides between each of the additions, just to make sure everything gets mixed up really well. All right, the next thing is the sugar, and here I have the brown sugar and the regular granulated sugar. You can weigh them out together in the same bowl. Put those in there. And to that, I have the pitted dates, and just roughly chop them. They end up being in little pieces, and it's super nice to get those pieces when you're eating the cake. Okay, another little blitz. So what we're doing is adding all the carrots and the wet ingredients first before we add the flour with the baking soda and baking powder at the very end. When you add those just need to be combined just with a few pulses, and once the cake is assembled, we'll pop it in the oven. So the next step are the eggs and the yogurt. 3 eggs, just put them in one go. If you have very, very large eggs, those jumbo eggs, that you can use 2 very large eggs, but those are just regular eggs, so 3 will do the trick. And some Greek yogurt, that nice thick Greek yogurt. Oh, let's do that. Okay. And the oil. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla paste. You can use vanilla extract too. 1. We have all our wet ingredients. I'm just going to blitz this one more time. There we go. It looks a bit soupy, don't worry about that. And to that, I'm going to add lots of cinnamon. There's 2 teaspoons of cinnamon and some allspice. Put those in there. Oh, smells good already. And then last thing, all the dry ingredients. So the flour, baking soda and baking powder. There we go. Okay, 3 or 4 pulses and that should do the trick. There we go. All right. Let's pop this into the cake tin. So you need to have a parchment-lined springform pan, and this is 8 inches. You can do this in a 9-inch tin. The cooking time might need to be adjusted by about 10 minutes. But this is an 8-inch tin, and it makes this beautiful deep carrot cake, which will then cut in half to put frosting in the middle of it too. So this is pretty thick once you've added the flour, and just pour it, scrape it into the pan. Be careful of the blade in the food processor itself when you're doing this. Use a spatula. Get this all into here, and then when you can, take the blade out of the bowl carefully so that you don't cut yourself. Okay, there's still more in here, and this makes this gorgeous, just rich, lovely, moist carrot cake. I think carrot cake should be reclassified as a good breakfast food. I love a piece in the morning with a cup of coffee. Really delicious. All right, once this is done, shake it so everything's leveled out, and I'm going to pop this in a 325-degree oven. It takes about an hour to cook. So here is this beautiful carrot cake. Look at that. It's like yummy looking. So it needs to be cut in half. Obviously, you need to let it cool before you do that. Otherwise, it might be a little tricky to cut it in half. And I get a long, not serrated knife and just aim at the midpoint, and we're going to slice this in half. And then we will prepare the lovely cream cheese and mascarpone and lemon frosting. There we go. Take that off. Put that. You can see all the yummy dates in there. Now, there's parchment paper on the bottom of this, and I like to take that off because then when you cut the cake, you don't see that paper. Take that off. And I'm going to put this on a cake stand. This way around. There. Ready to do our icing. So for the frosting, what do we need? We need 8 ounces of cream cheese, 4 ounces of mascarpone, the zest and juice of a lemon, and some icing sugar, confectioner's sugar. And that's 1/3 cup, and some vanilla paste. So just pop everything into the food processor. Ooh. There we go. Everything can just all go in one go. And the confectioner's sugar. And a teaspoon of vanilla paste. Again, if you don't have vanilla paste, you can use vanilla extract. There we go. All right. And then blitz this until it becomes creamy and luscious. Takes about 10 seconds. There we go. All right, now we are going to ice our beautiful carrot cake. So I just, making lots of noise, sorry. I just take a spatula. You can use an offset spatula to do this if you wish, but One of these will work fine. And I put about a quarter of the frosting in the middle of the cake. And just spread it out over the cake all the way to the outside. This cake gets completely frosted all the way around. If you wish to just leave the outside of the cake naked, you can, and then just frost the top and the middle. You just want to make sure you have enough in the middle so that when you cut it, it creates a nice layer. So there we go. Now I'm going to pop the other half on top, like so. There. And we'll ice the rest of it. So make sure you get icing all the way around the outside of the cake. And don't worry, as you're doing this, it looks a little ragged. Right at the end, you can smooth it all out and it'll look fabulous. Plus, the top is going to get covered in granola. So once you have finished icing your cake, and remember it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to cover it with granola, just make sure you've gone all the way around the outside. And this is a granola that I make myself. You can get the recipe in my fruit cookbook, Les Fruits. And I just pour it over the top. You can use any granola for this. This one is packed with almonds and other dried fruit. And you can do one of two things. I put enough so that it goes to the edge. You get this lovely crunchy topping on the cake. Make sure you get the bits of almonds if they're a larger fruit that you're using, like that. And then what I like to do is just to drizzle some around the outside of the cake. Makes a nice little finish. And this, apart from having it for breakfast, of course, you could have it with a cup of tea in the afternoon, which is just about what I'm going to do in a second. In fact, as soon as I finish doing this. There we go. Beautiful carrot cake, all made in a food processor. So let's take a look at what this looks like inside. Nice little slice. Oh, look at that. Delicious. I think that's good enough to eat. Don't forget to subscribe. Bon appétit.